In the heart of the nation where laughter's the key, Natch has the podcast, join the revelry. Taking the Mickey with positive spin. Country folks unite, let the Nat Chat begin. Nat Chat where the laughter's free. Spinning tales about politics with positivity.
That's just a lovely little jingle. Ben Ridley, how are you?
I love that jingle.
Do you really?
I do. It's my favourite jingle.
Of all time?
All time.
Really?
Yep. By far.
I don't know if I
play it each
believe
morning.
you. You do?
That's my wake-up song.
The fact that you can say that sitting there with a straight face is alarming to me.
I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah,
This is
that's what I mean. It's
I know.
alarming to me.
It's a skill.
How's your fitness journey going?
Funny you should ask that. You've obviously seen the email that I just got from Anytime Fitness saying that we miss you.
No. Yeah, well, how long do you have to be absent
Well,
before you get that email?
I'm not sure that's the first one I've got. I think it's...
So how is that journey going then?
Look, I've got to that stage where you sit there and you go, a bigger pair of pants doesn't mean anything if you're wearing
Yes, it does.
No, because if you're wearing a bigger jacket over the top of it, you can't tell.
Yeah, but no, yes, it does.
Do you know my wife said to me the other day, she goes, are you thinking about getting back into the gym anytime soon again?
That's subtle.
I know. I was like, I'm carb loading.
For what?
When it happens.
Do you want to run the Melbourne Half Marathon?
Exactly, that's what it is.
Do you want to do that?
No.
I've got a spare entry.
Really?
Yeah, because my husband can't do it either.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I wish I could
You don't want to think about it?
No. I wish I could do it.
Do you want to make a donation to it? It's for the Dr. Julie Zerner
See,
Centre.
this is where I'm at in life. I'm happier to donate than do.
Great.
So let's do that.
Great. Fantastic.
You
I'll
are
send
so
you the
good
link.
at this.
I really am, aren't I?
Never
I
had
suck
someone
you
get
into
more
everything.
money. Well, you're like my second wife.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't bullshit a bullshitter,
See,
Ben.
my wife knows how to do this, and then you're like the second wife that I have. That you're just you
Great.
seem to get money out of me. That, Yeah.
Well, you're welcome.
No.
But at least it's going to a good cause.
I've been on here for 8 seconds, and I've already given money.
Yeah, well, how much?
How
How about I'll make you a deal? Hang on, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal.
Good at this.
Yeah, very good. What do you want to commit for a start?
I don't know. What do you?
It's for the Dr. Julie Zerner Centre for the Mildura Health Foundation.
Yeah, I know that one.
$500.
Okay.
If I come in,
Yeah,
because I need a bit of a motivator too, under 2 hours, 10 minutes, double it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, double it. You come in under 2 hours. Oh, shit, it's a half marathon.
Yeah, it's a half marathon.
Yeah, all right.
But I'm still, look at me, like I'm built for comfort, not
You
speed.
just come in from a workout.
Yeah, but I've only been at backcourt.
It doesn't matter.
But they've got the machines. You don't actually have to run. It's amazing. Oh, my God.
Superstar. All right, let's do that.
Great.
$1,000.
$1,000 if I come in under
Done.
210.
Done.
Okay, that's a bit of pressure. Geez, you're good, aren't you?
$1,000 if I come in under 210 at the moment, just in pounds. Like it's, I did a conversion.
What is 210 in pounds? Be only like 96 kilos, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I'm 170 centimetres. Like this is.
You're not a tall man.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Like, in fact, you are right on the money. I Googled it. It's about 96.
I was going to say, but you're about 96.
My playing weight for football was 72 kilos.
Yeah, but you would have been a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're only little.
Yeah.
Yeah, this skinny little 72 whippet. Yeah.
So.
That's okay. Yeah. How long have you been retired?
20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, I've been retired for 20 years.
20 years?
I retired at 24 years old. Yep.
Why did you retire at 24?
My body broke down. My back, my calves, everything broke down. It couldn't move. It was just done. So, true story, I can't run anymore. My calves are that cooked, I can't run.
That's why my husband can't do it. As soon as he runs, he tears a calf.
Couldn't. I went to the physio the other week because I tore my calf from walking too fast.
I'm not going to laugh at you. I know that sounds funny, but I've literally been through the same thing with Luke recently.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's just ridiculous. So 24 years old, I was done. I was cooked.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely done.
Are you on the board at the minute for the league?
No.
Was there talk about that?
Oh, I think there's always been talk of that. But
people trying to convince you.
Yeah.
Should I go a bit harder? Because I'm pretty good at convincing you to do things.
You are good at this.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Why?
No, I think.
Don't say can't.
No, I think because in the media I reckon I can do more in the media, commentating with the newspaper by Yeah, whether I agree with their decisions or not, I'll say it.
You can, you've still got the freedom to do that.
Yeah, if I'm on there, I've got to toe the line.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
And I reckon sometimes, depending on what you're trying to achieve, more can be done from the outside. Yeah. Council's another one. Do you want to have a chat about, because we're going to get to real estate and the housing crisis and all that. But let's talk about council and the ward system. I know you're a big fan.
Ridiculous. It's the dumbest system in the world. It just...
it's not that complicated though, right?
I know it's not that complicated, but my biggest issue is if you've got a ward where no one else is running, then you're automatically in.
Well, that's how I got on.
Anything.
No, that's right. Yeah. Greg Brown, same. And I feel for Greg. Like if he wants to do it, great. But at his age, respectfully, he shouldn't have to be doing that.
So that's it.
But there's no one else in that entire ward that nominated.
This is the crap thing. If you've got 5 people in a great ward or 5 great people in a ward, well, then you're missing out on great people.
Correct.
In the council.
Exactly.
Like it's not a smart move. I understand that we spoke about it off air. It's like it's a historical move, but it's not the way of the world. And you can't just get onto something as important as council just because you put your hand up and that's it. Like you haven't justified your place. You haven't done anything to deserve a vote.
Or spoken with others that are also running to,
I don't know. It's, it's a bit like, when North Melbourne used to pick their coaches because no one else wanted it.
Yeah. Well, West Coast at the minute.
West Coast.
Oh, gee whiz.
So I've got a mate who's in the final 4. We used to play footy together.
Yeah.
Hayden Skipworth. And he's down to the last 4 and I'm like, oh, mate, do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so...
Well, does he really want to do it?
Well, I don't know if he does. Yeah, I think he does. Well, he's down to the final 4. He does.
Who are the other 3?
So you've got... who else? You've got Stephen King.
Yep.
You've got McQualter, who used to be a caretaker coach at Richmond. Mm-hmm. And then...
And he wasn't bad at Richmond.
McQualter, he was great at Richmond. And then there was... there's one other. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like if you're passionate and you're going out there and you're pushing your case for the right reasons, then, you deserve a vote. But if you're not and you're just putting your hand up and you get that chance... Yeah. That's crap.
Yeah, well, and it's crap for the next 4 years.
The next 4 years.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's lots of there's lots of pros, there's lots of cons. There's probably more cons than there is pros. And I don't know the reasoning, given the amount of submissions that were received to not have it.
Do you think, let's go conspiracy theorists.
Oh, God.
I know.
Do we have to?
Yeah, let's do this.
It's not even a full moon.
I know, but it was the other day.
It was. All right, go on.
It's like a hangover.
Okay.
So,
I've just got over one.
I was going to say, I'm struggling. So, but if you had, let's say you've got one ward where you knew no one else was in there, doesn't it nearly get the reek of, if I put you in that ward and I'm sitting there and I get you in that ward, doesn't it? There's manipulation in there, isn't there? Like if you said to someone that we don't have anyone, okay, let's go to your old stomping ground.
Yeah.
Robinvale, no one else is putting their hand up. No one's representing Robinvale. And then someone comes in and says, I know you don't want to do this, but I don't want to do this. But if I can have you in council, I think that there's going to be...
that happens though.
Yeah, I know, but doesn't it like... Isn't it making it easier for that to happen?
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah. Particularly if...
We've gone deep early.
Yeah, well, we have. Yeah. Probably a little too much, more than I intended. But if there's a block, but I mean, people unsubdivided or not, there are people that will run as a block on tickets. It happens in every election. In what the argument that I've heard, and I don't know... It's still democracy because anyone can nominate, right? I think they could tighten it up with that closing of the loophole that you don't have to live in your ward to nominate it.
So this is the weirdest thing as well. So if you were the weakest link, why would you nominate the ward that's the strongest link even if you live in it?
Correct.
Like you'd go in against it's like someone saying, well, I don't want to sit there and play with Sydney. I want to go and play with the Gold Coast Suns because I know I'm going to get a senior game.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's easier to go there.
Are you telling me that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I know.
Of course it does.
No, well, only to the freak shows. Only the ones that are the good players who get to choose where
Harley
they go.
Reid?
Oh, superstar.
Absolute superstar. And he's been an absolute superstar in his first year at West Coast.
What a star.
Yeah, I know, but this is also not a football. Well, can we do a footy one later?
We have
or
to.
Cricket?
Can we have beers doing?
Of course.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of a given.
Well, I think so.
When you're doing a sports one, it's a given.
Oh, thanks to me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but you're here in your community representation capacity as a real estate agent, but you're at the coalface.
Yep.
And I talk about this in Parliament all the time when talking about the housing statement. Yeah, I know, try not to laugh. When talking about the housing crisis and how the government's going to build 80,000 homes a year and that's going to... No, let the free market do what the free market does best.
Yep.
However, in my humble opinion, and I know I'm not alone, the changes to the Residential Tenancies Act, land tax, capital gains tax, windfall gains tax, the vacant land, these things to try and stop land banking and things like that. But everything has made it so hard and has completely disincentivised the private market to want to provide long-term housing. And now they're going to try and tax their way out of it with a short-term rental tax.
Yeah, it's insane. And not only that, you've got a situation where Victoria being laughed at. We are absolutely being laughed at, and all the investors that we speak to that are selling up and buying in other states are doing it for that fact. They're going, well, we can't make the money that we used to. So therefore, why is it that every other taxpayer has to go out and now pay for all this social housing when you could give incentives to private investors where you can actually go out and help them go and build their own portfolios, and good on them for taking that step to do it, and let them go and actually go and get tenants, go and get people in there that are paying off their properties. Some people are just happy to be tenants.
Yeah.
So if we're going out and we're going to build all this social housing that we're all paying for, at the end of the day, we don't have enough trades to be able to do it. We don't have enough money to be able to do it. And we don't have the capability of being able to go out and do it by way of the legislation around it that's going to actually look after it. So it is the biggest contradiction you'll ever come across, and it's a disgrace. Yeah.
There's my promo for the week, because it absolutely is a disgrace. And I often talk about, and you'll be able to back me up here. We don't have to. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But I often talk about the fact that us sitting on the river and we've got a different law on this side and then far less red tape, far less taxes to build over in Golgol, Baronga, and you see the subdivisions going up at a rate of knots there, and the houses get built straight away.
Everything gets through quicker.
Yeah.
Everything is done quicker. And as you said, so people are going to sit there and they're going to look for the easiest option. The easiest and most profitable option is on that side of the river.
Of course it is.
And the unfortunate thing about that is we've got so many taxes on top of taxes that you're now not actually – you're not even seeing your own income come through, because it's now being taxed 5 times before you even get it in your hand.
Exactly.
And the unfortunate thing about that is we now have a cost of living crisis, and if everyone's telling me that this is purely made from private investment or private spending, that's crap, because that's not absolutely the case. And then you go out and you have a look at, especially when we looked at the last builders grants that came in Victoria, that was what changed the market in Victoria. That did not need to happen. It did not need to happen, and that sent prices through the roof.
Of course it did.
And the unfortunate part is you've got the stats that have come out now in Australia that you've got 14% of people who are earning the median income can afford a house at the median price in Australia.
Isn't that insane?
But you know what? Let's go and talk about negative gearing as well and chuck that in on top.
All right. Well, it has come out today that he's now going to backpedal on this. It's still in the mix, getting rid of negative gearing. Now, that to me is the very last incentive to hold on to a house that you can negative gear for tax reasons, because you're paying so much tax on that anyway.
Tax. So where does it stop? Does it stop in your own super contribution that you're now getting caps on that? You've now got, I think we are the only country in the world that has negative gearing taxes in place. But the thing is all the investors that are going out and using negative gearing are relying on this. If you don't have negative gearing in place for the people that have gone and taken advantage of it, they have to sell. They're not going to be afford. And if they own 5 properties that they're negative gearing, well, they're going to have to sell 1, 2 or 3 of those. So most likely, if we keep going with foreign investment the way that we're going, and we do have these vacant homes that are coming through, then all of a sudden we're pandering to a market out there that's cashed up, ready to go.
Yep.
And these people that are generally negative gearing are in capital cities, and their capital cities, a lot of them are going to be in quite exclusive areas. a lot of the people that are using those rental properties as rentals, they will get snapped up by foreign investors because we continue to pump up artificially our market with a lot of government spending and a lot of government funding to keep it afloat. And so what's going to happen is the market will continue on to the people that least need the housing.
Yeah, correct.
People that are vacant owners and not from Australia.
No, that's exactly right. But it does nothing then to house people that have been put out on the street because those houses have been sold.
Yep.
It does nothing to it does,
It's another house that's sitting there with a family out looking for another.
That's
home.
right, or sleeping rough. And it's really getting to a point now. Like there are rough sleepers everywhere.
Have you ever seen it like this here?
No, never.
Yeah.
Never. And I chat to MASP a fair bit and there's various reasons, but a lot of it is there's zero housing stock on the long-term rental market because those landlords have been disincentivised. MASP do a great job to try and fill some of the gaps. They can't do everything.
No,
and we're really lucky to have them here.
And this is the thing, we can't rely upon them doing everything. We've got to be able to go out and start getting people back into the market and giving incentives for people to want to go and actually get people in investment properties. And the thing about it is the market, especially even with vacant land and people will build, they will build if the incentive is there in regards to, tax breaks. Banks charge more on an investment loan.
Of course they do.
Than they do on a home loan.
Yeah.
So there's disincentive everywhere for private equity to come into play here, which could be our biggest. We're talking about going out and taxing everything to try and get ourselves out of debt.
You can't tax your way out of debt.
How do people not know this?
Well, because common sense is bereft of those. Let me ask you this. And in my mind, you talk about, some people are okay to be lifetime renters.
Yeah.
Great. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
absolutely.
fine. There are some people who want to own their own properties and don't want to live off the government coffers in retirement, right?
100%.
And that was put into place. Superannuation's not that old, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So if you can set yourself up, and it might be starting with a very small property, I started with a 2-bedroom unit because there was no way I was going to, as a single person, couldn't have bought, built and bought 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Obviously.
Looking at these earrings that cost $1,000 each.
Lay off. These are actually $5 ones from Levis or whatever. My mother would kill me. But you know what I mean? So, so it seems to me that the government, that is the government in the Socialist Republic of Victoria, have just decided that anyone that owns more than one property is an evil land baron and the government should own everything. That to me is dangerous.
Well, the problem is most landlords are single investment landlords who are using it for their future. So wouldn't you prefer that they're using it for their future rather than living off, as you said, the government coffers down the track with superannuation? That's, again, your own money. But the other big issue that you've got there is when you are going out there and you're trying to start this lifestyle, rents are going through the roof because there's not enough properties in the marketplace at the moment. So the people that want to be able to save and get into the market, it's this vicious cycle. They can't. So then the government comes in, they give more taxes that get passed on to the landlord. The landlord turns around and says, well, I need to cover these because I don't have enough income to cover this, as well as maintenance, as well as insurances and everything else, council rates, water rates, all of those things. So then the poor tenant gets stuck with an increase. So then we come through and we say, but you can only do that once a year. So, and it's only a reasonable amount. Well, that's pretty tough to do because some people are sitting there going, you know what, I'd have to cop what the owner's giving me because if I don't do this, I'm out on the street.
Correct.
We have a vacancy rate of less than 0.1%. And we've had that for 10 years. So this isn't a new thing. 0.1%. This is the highest we've had in the last 10 years is 0.5%. We haven't even got close to 1% vacancy.
Wow.
Not even close. And yet we're going out there and we're stalling people. Developers now, and everyone talks about these big bad developers and all that. Well, give them a break because they're the ones that are providing housing for you.
Correct.
So their cost to develop blocks of land in Victoria alone have gone up by 100%. They have doubled in the last 3 years.
In the last 3 years.
Now, my father's developing in South Australia. It is half the cost to develop in South Australia than it is in Mildura. It's 3 times the price to buy them.
Wow.
Now, what is a developer going to do there?
So 3 times the cost to buy in South Australia as it is here, and it's half the
half the cost of development.
Well, that's why people are leaving the state to go and develop.
Absolutely they are. Half the people that bought in our last subdivision in Victor Harbour are from here.
You kidding? No. I reckon I know a couple of them too. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, they are because it's easy.
It's easy.
And so does the renter care at all who's providing the housing for them? If they're getting a decent rent that they're getting looked after for, because the owner's not getting taxed to the hilt, and the owner then has to sell. So then the tenant's panicking. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to move? Is someone else going to buy it and move into it? How long have I got to find a house? Can I find a house? And how many people am I up against? So every time we go out there and we increase a tax, or we go out there and put a new tax on, it makes another landlord sit there and go, I have to sell. I can't afford it because I've got to look after myself first.
Yeah.
And that poor tenant has no say in that. No say in it whatsoever.
That's a really interesting point you make. Does the tenant actually care who owns the property?
Not at all. They just want a house with someone who's going to look after it for them, and they've got a reasonable rent. But we continually have this situation where landlords are seen as the big bad boogie monster and they get smashed with everything. You rich person, how dare you?
Yeah.
They are not rich people.
Absolutely
They are
not.
struggling as much as everybody else, and they're trying to set up their future, especially the older generation, as you said, where half of their lives was super, half of their lives wasn't. This is the only thing they have.
Correct.
And so why do we have to take that away from them and penalise them? Windfall tax. You've got people on farms that are coming in, and they just have to be in an area that's in a growth corridor, not even rezoned, and you're getting taxed. And if people knew what the tax amount was, essentially the tax amount, anything over $100,000, and your tax amount is increased, let's say by $300,000 overnight because it's been rezoned, you get taxed 62.5%.
62.5%?
Of that gain. Now you get to
62.5%.
Now, but you also get to, the great news is you've got 30 years to do that. You've got 30 years to pay it off, or when the next dutiable tax is charged, which is at a sale. What the hell has the old farmer done to do that? They don't have super. They've had to go. They're sitting there saying, you know what, I just wanted to cut a block off.
Yeah.
That's another
I was going to say,
well.
should we talk about that?
Story.
That is one of my biggest bugbears.
Like, have a look at our region.
Yeah.
How many 10-acre blocks are hanging around doing nothing?
Correct. Or even the 30-acre blocks, the 30-acre great blocks that were given as soldier settler blocks.
Soldier settlements. Romba. Have a look at that.
They'd make great 1 or 3 acre low-density rural lifestyle properties. Try and even excise the house off so the farmer that has been there his whole life can stay in that house, and he can sell the vines to his neighbours.
Then you've got, so let's say they then do go off and sell that off to a developer. So the developer now is all of a sudden they've paid a heap. You've got the windfall tax that the other past owners had to pay, the old farmer. Now it's double the cost to go out and develop everything to try and get it started. And then every single block that doesn't sell once the titles come through are now up for land tax.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
They sit vacant.
They sit vacant. So the developer's now paying land tax on 40 blocks that are sitting there vacant.
So why would a developer bother?
Well, not in Victoria, you wouldn't, would you? Why would you? Why would you risk it?
No, exactly. Why would you risk it?
Because you're doing your costs at such a finite amount. So then by the time that 12 months comes through and you've gone and spent $100,000 per lot just to develop, plus your purchase price, plus stamp duty, and then you're sitting there thinking...
Is that what it costs, $100,000 per block for the infrastructer and to subdivide it?
So let's just say on top of that, you're sitting there for 12 months and you haven't sold all your blocks. You've still got 20 blocks sitting there. As a developer, all your land tax is cutting in. Plus, because not every developer's just filled up to the bucket with cash. You've got people that are coming through. Indian buyers are the best at this.
Okay.
They'll get 30 families together and they'll come in and they'll all chip in and they'll put it in. So everyone's picturing these developers as these guys coming in that are the biggest and the best, and it's not true.
It's not true. I remember when my dad and 2 of his mates years ago, I was only a little kid, but I remember it. They set up this company to do a subdivision, and it was him and 2 mates. And again, between them, they would have had maybe 3 cents to rub together. But they did what they could.
Risk.
No
one talks about the ones that went broke and have nothing left because they had a crack.
No, well, one of them ripped the other 2 off, and now they're not mates anymore. In fact, I haven't seen the other one for a long time.
He sounds lovely.
Great. But you're right. But nobody talks about the ones that didn't survive.
No.
Because that's how it used to be, and they were much smaller, like courts and much smaller subdivisions when there was the ability to do that. But it didn't cost them, and we're talking the 80s, costs and the ability, it was much easier.
Even loan to be able to go and get it. I mean, essentially you just had to have the guts to walk into a bank and say, can I have the money in the 80s and can I go and develop? And they're like, off you go. Good luck.
You had a personal bank
you had someone you could
manager
talk to.
too.
But that's not the way. I mean, you're looking at now. So this is going deep into the banking system. So let's say you want to go and develop a block. You go out and say, right, I'm going to go and borrow the money. The bank says for you to then develop, we're going to have 20 pre-sales. So you need to have 20 pre-sales, and they need to be unconditional sales with 10% deposits. And then we will give you the loan to start the construction.
Can you even do that before you get title?
Well, so this is where it starts to get very hypocritical. Then you have me come in and say, I want to buy a block off you. So I want to buy block 24. And I need it to be subject to finance. And that you're like, no. And the bank's like, well, we're not giving you finance because there's no title. So we've got nothing to be able to hold security against. But the other banker on the other side is saying, yeah, but we need an unconditional amount of sales, usually about 20% of what the subdivision is. And once we've got that, then we'll get you the money to be able to do it. But then as a developer, you've gone and paid for it. You've got 18 months in every contract in Victoria, because if you haven't constructed in 18 months, the buyer can walk away, no cost, get their full deposit back, and then you're in strife. So there's so many other things that the banking system have that's a high risk. Then you've got tax on top of that on every block that is high risk. Then you've got poor mum and dad who have owned a farm, it's now in a growth area, and they're thinking, how great is this? We're going to get an uplift. That's fantastic, but you're going to have to pay a huge amount of tax on that. I mean, we're talking even in the US at the moment, they're talking about taxing people on capital gains on their shares.
What?
Unrealised capital gains. So look, this is where this thing of debt and tax, shouldn't we be going out and trying to get private investment as much as we possibly can to stop the housing crisis?
Let the free market do what it does best.
Do it. And then not only that, all of a sudden, because we do have that development, we've got people that are now going out getting more apprenticeships, people who are getting people into apprenticeships because they need more workers. People have more money. Therefore, people can then go out and start buying things again. But if someone's telling me that all the inflation that we've got right now is from the private industry, from
rubbish,
mum and dad,
rubbish.
You and I go and have coffees each day. Go and check out the coffee shop.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Go and check out my sister's hospitality place.
Yeah.
And not only that, because we give people everything for nothing, we can't get workers. So
there's no incentive to work, is there?
No incentive to work. So if you're not working, well, you're not taxing anyone for the income that they're getting work from. So therefore, they've got to find another place to tax them from.
Gee whiz. You put that in a very black and white way. I love it.
We might as well just
at least you can say it,
don't we? Yeah. You know, the thing is, but this is where the world is now.
Yeah.
This is what I don't like about where the world is. The world is too scared to talk about what they have to talk about because they're going to offend someone, but then someone's offended for the person who's not offended.
Yeah, correct.
I don't, it is, everything's simplistic.
Yeah.
It's like I say to my team at work, work's not the most important thing in your life. Don't ever think that it is.
Yeah.
It's important, but it's not. Your family and everything else is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And that's for everyone. Everyone's just trying to look after their family.
Correct.
All they're doing.
Yep.
The renter's trying to look after their family. The landlord's trying to look after their family. And we're penalising everyone now. So the poor renters are paying through the roof. It's ridiculous. The poor landlords are paying through the roof. They're not making any money. They're losing money.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we've got every regulation in the world that makes people stress, get upset, get mental health issues. Everything comes through. It's just, I mean, we sit there and we say, geez, it should be so much easier, but it should be so much easier.
Of course it should. Yeah. But I think we've also been conditioned to the point now, and I will get political, we've been conditioned by Labor governments that the government will always be there to help you.
Yeah, I don't want the government to help.
No, neither do I. I want the government to get out of the damn
way.
Leave
me alone.
Exactly. Get out of our lives. Make it easier for the free market. And just so I think we're in a dangerous position now, and it came about because of there were blackouts, and we do very well up here as far as our power industry. A lot of it's got to do with regen out the road,
exactly right,
but we do okay. But down in Gippsland or Euroa over there, they are blacking out all the time, right? And there was discussion around when the power goes out for more than 3 days, the government will.
So why is the power going out?
Yeah, I get that, but then I just think that's a dangerous precedent to set.
But you're relying on the government?
That's
socialist?
Correct. That's socialism. And tell me when the last time socialism was a good idea?
Well, it's never worked.
Correct.
Never once worked
exactly.
in history. But we slowly get pushed there.
Yeah. Well, we've got no choice because
we've got no choice.
And it comes from, and I get really it really grinds my gears, and people are like, oh, how do they get voted back in? Well, when you've got such a huge public service,
and they're paying them,
of course, and when you've got huge big bills, and that kind of government spending is what drives inflation.
Or you voting your boss out, isn't it? Like if you're a public servant, well, that's your job. That's who employs you.
Correct.
So therefore, why bite the hand that feeds you?
Yep. It's the same with the trades on the big builds
the
as well.
unions didn't see this coming?
No, the unions have made this.
So manufacturing, let's bring manufacturing back to Australia. Really?
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Well, let's go and pay every man on the line $150,000 a year.
Correct.
And then try and build a car for 30.
Well, they're doing that with traffic controllers.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
But this is the problem. You're getting a situation where if you go and ask most people what the difference is between, say, the left and the right, unfortunately, you're going to have a varying degree of answers based on who pays them, how they were brought up, where they came from. The unfortunate thing about it is government are there to help legislate on behalf of the people. I just don't think that's ever – it's not there now.
No.
We're getting here at the moment. Like our Labor government here in Victoria – and look, I'll probably lose clients over this, which doesn't really bother me, to be brutally honest.
I don't know that you will, but go on.
Right. But our problem is if you have a look at our debt against the OECD, just for Victoria alone, I think we rank in the top 7 of OECD debt per person through any developed country, not state, country in the OECD.
Yeah.
Just Victoria alone.
Correct.
Now, I sit back and go, all these decisions that have been made, I didn't ask for them. I didn't ask for this debt. I didn't ask that every single time I now go. And look, so let's go back. We have GST. Yep, that was not Labor. Absolutely. Yep, you can put your hand up and go, fantastic. But if I go and employ more than 15 people in my business, I have a payroll tax that I have to pay, which penalises me from employing more people that are going to be taxed by the government. So therefore, they're disincentivising me to grow my business because that's a payroll tax that is state. It's not federal.
Correct.
That's a state tax.
Yep.
GST. GST. What? That we're going every single time we go out and we buy goods and services. Every single time we're paying a tax.
Correct.
We've already been taxed on the tax that we've been earned from our wages. But I've been taxed before I pay you the wages that you're now getting taxed upon. So then we go a little bit further and we go, okay, well, let's say stamp duty. So stamp duty. You've now got stamp duty that every state government takes advantage of, which is fantastic, no dramas. But house prices have tripled in the last 15 years. Stamp duty hasn't changed in the percentage. So we're doing pretty well with stamp duty for our state at the moment.
Still too much.
Of course it's too much. So you sit there and you go, where does the taxing stop before people with private enterprises and companies sit there and go, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's happening now, isn't it?
Of course it's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you have a look. Let's have a look in. So I spoke to someone the other day in Melbourne. The expectations in the next 12 months are up to 2,000 small cafes and restaurants in the CBD alone will close.
And that affects the entire atmosphere.
Incomes.
Yeah.
That's people's wages that are coming through. That's also the big bad boss who's employing 2 people has now lost the staff.
Yeah, that's right.
That's more taxes that we've lost. So therefore, they're now on benefits.
Relying on the government.
Relying on the government. Geez, I'm real conspiracy. I sound like a conspiracy.
Well, but this is how it works, and people need to understand. Yes, exactly. And common sense to me would be,
because everyone comes to me and says, "You're a real estate agent. You're only doing this because you want to make more money." That's crap. That is absolute crap. I don't want to see people that we have to deal with sleeping in their cars with 2 kids.
Yeah, correct.
I don't want that.
No.
Do we want the landlords putting their rent up every single week? They go, well, you make more out of it. I would be more than happy that we don't. I would much prefer that we have double the amount of rent roll. We'll make our money. No dramas at all.
Exactly.
We'll make our money.
Yeah.
Because we've got double the amount of renters for half the price.
Yeah, that's right.
Because people can afford it. They've got a house over their heads and they're happy.
Yeah, and people can afford to have rental properties.
And if someone wants to go and buy 10 rental properties because they've saved their butts off, they haven't gone and spent money, done all the trips and all that to set up their future and their kids' future, you're a champion.
Happy
Good on
days.
you.
Exactly.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you want to rent for the rest of your life, do that. Be
Great.
happy, go and do it.
Yeah.
But they don't want to sit there and rent and have the rent go up at $50 every year because taxes go up.
No, that's exactly right.
That's not their fault.
No, and it's not. But this is the thing: it's not anybody's fault.
Anybody's fault.
It's not anybody's
We're
fault.
creating this.
Yes, it has been created by bad policy. It's as simple as that, and it can be corrected with a few adjustments in good policy.
Yep.
It's not that I say this all the time. This stuff's not rocket science.
No.
It's just a bit of common sense.
Yes.
Don't get me started on the banking system, the supermarkets, the airlines in this.
Well, that's it.
And
Look
then
at Woolworths and Coles of recent. Have a look at AFL Grand Final weekend this weekend. Tell me if you can get a flight for at least less than double than what it was a week ago.
Not a chance. But you can sit on a train from Swan Hill and go for $7.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't do it from here.
No.
But then at the same time, people are like, well, bring the train back. No, you don't want that old train.
What? Bring the train back. Are you going to use it?
Yeah, but if you want passenger rail, let's not talk about the train we used to have.
The choo-choo train.
No,
something
let's go and get fast rail.
This is the problem. You can't have people saying we have to have this and we have to have that. Private enterprise works on demand and supply and demand.
It's basic economics.
If you don't use it, you don't get it. Because the person who's paying for it can't afford to keep it.
Correct. And this is what I was saying to Sammy before down at Backcourt. We've had all of these things. People always say, we need more things for young people. Great. Go and set up a business. See how easy it is. Yeah.
Go and work out the insurances that are going up at
Correct.
a record rate every single year. Go and figure out what taxes you are paying that you never even knew existed.
Exactly. The Aquacoaster, Inflatable World, House of Bounce, all these things that are fantastic. They can't afford to open.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for this. And it's got nothing to do with council. It's got everything to do with taxes and insurance.
The worst thing is if you don't sit there and you want to figure out how bad our tax system is and how much you don't get and how much risk you have to take on, go and start a business.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 100%.
By all means, go and do that because that is why people are getting out.
Absolutely. I couldn't wait to get out of my business.
Yep.
Like Kilvid. Well, it did. It did.
Have you just come up with
I did just come up with that, yeah. Well, it did. It killed my business.
Trademark.
I know. Kilvid.
Kilvid. Holy crap.
There's a new, that could be the headline for my policy.
This is it, Kilvid.
Yeah, I love it.
How good are you?
I mean, no, but it's like, it's exactly that. Like, try and set up a business and operate it with staff, because that was the first part of my business plan. I was never going to employ staff because of things like payroll tax and all of the things that as a small sole trader, you just can't afford.
Oh, it's and this is the big thing. Unfortunately, and it's not just that. You know, we talk about superannuation. Well, that goes up each year.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're talking now in regards to the contribution that we're making towards our staff, which is fantastic. We need this. All these things are great. So all these things in isolation are fantastic. But if you've got the balls to actually send me for an investment property that I have, a tax that is blatantly telling me what the tax is and yet telling me it's a different name, you're literally telling me on the form that this is a COVID repayment.
Yeah. Yeah, they do tell you that.
Like it is phenomenal. They're not even pretending to try anymore.
No.
Like, sorry, we stuffed up. Mind you, what we're also going to do is we're going to go and get some Commonwealth Games out here. We're going to go and boost up the area. But, you know, we've blown that out. But
it was just a 12-day sporting carnival.
Paying for that for the next 30 years, do you as well?
No,
just ask your kids if they're happy to do that as well. Just let them know that not only do they not get to see their heroes, they're paying for not seeing their heroes as well. So,
thanks very
seriously.
Much. I know.
Like, seriously.
I know.
And I'm paying that back on a form that tells me this.
Yeah. As well as you're paying for the UFU and their fire services levy. Meanwhile, the CFA get nothing.
CFA don't get anything.
They get
at all.
Nothing. Mind you, like FRV, I have a great relationship with them here, but that fire services levy funds capital city firefighters.
But then this was the biggest thing with the CFA and the metropolitan unions. Yeah. You go and speak to the old, salt of the earth CFA.
Yeah. I do on a regular basis.
You will. Like it's and this is the thing, like when people sit there and go, it's not that easy. Well, yeah, it is. I didn't stuff this up.
Yeah.
I didn't stuff this up.
Yeah.
You didn't stuff this up.
No.
Our landlords didn't stuff this up. Our tenants didn't stuff this up.
Correct. But we can certainly fix it.
Well, and this is the thing. I mean, when we start talking about good economic policy, people start going, as I said, being a National Party member, I'll openly say this. But the biggest thing about it is if I was running my business the same way, I would be broke bum on the side of the street. I'm proud that I employ 30 people because I help 30 people live and have great family lives. I'm really proud to say that I do that.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm the richest person in the world? Absolutely bloody not.
Yeah.
And I'll work hard to get this way.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I do this is because we have good economic policies in place for a successful business. And at the end of the day, this is what we're asking for. We're asking for good economic policy that we don't have to pay the rest of our lives for.
Exactly.
And that my children don't. That they can feel like they can get into a housing market, that they can get in there and they can prosper. And unfortunately, what we're seeing at the moment is we're just seeing money being thrown around left, right and centre. But when Dan Andrews made that when he got on air that day and said, I do not apologise for making a decision about the Commonwealth Games, I was thinking, you arsehole. It's not about the Commonwealth Games anymore.
No.
It's the flippant use of throwing money around that we don't have, we didn't have.
Correct.
And so therefore they're coming out and they're stalling the housing industry. So when you're stalling something, why on earth is the government saying we're putting money into it? You don't have the money.
No.
You don't have the money to put into it. So don't lie to me and tell me you're going to go and build all these houses.
Correct.
That's not going to happen.
No.
You don't even have the workforce to be able to do this. This big build doesn't exist.
No.
The big build in residential properties does not exist. But it does exist if you help the people who are out there, and if a developer makes $1 million doing it, good on them. Good on them. They've provided 50 homes. 25 of those will go to tenants. Good on them.
That's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
That's putting a roof over 25 families.
Providing incentives. Now they're being taxed to the hilt where they're going, I don't want to touch this. I'm going to go and look at different industry.
It's really sad, isn't it?
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It is really frustrating.
We're expected to go and pay for this social housing. That won't happen. It won't happen.
It can't happen.
How many new apartments were built, social housing, in Melbourne 2 years ago?
Oh, I don't know.
Less than 150. Less than 150 social housing properties in Melbourne were built 2 years ago.
So we were talking the other day in a...
that's not a big build.
No, that's not a big build. But we were talking in a same thing, talking about the short stay tax with the Minister's office before the last sitting week.
Yep.
And given the numbers that they say, and this is another one of my bugbears, nobody in the department, nobody in an MP's office understands the value of $1. They don't understand that to build a 2-bedroom unit doesn't cost you $750,000, or at least it shouldn't. No. Give me $750,000 and I'll go and build you a Ponderosa here, right?
100%.
So when they say, using their figures, all of this money, it's going to generate $60 million a year. What a load of shit for a start. But then all that money is going to go into building social and affordable housing. So using the government's own numbers, I calculate they'll build 12 houses a year.
So this is my point. It's easy to talk big numbers. It's easy to talk big numbers.
But they always talk numbers.
But this is the problem. Like, unfortunately, when you start looking at and you start breaking down how all these numbers actually work, it's hilarious.
But I don't.
I went to you with a business case, and if someone come to me with a business case,
looking for you to invest,
looking for me to invest, you better make sure you have your numbers.
Right.
If you don't, and you think I'm so stupid not to go and do my own numbers, isn't that? This is what we're being not asked to do. This is what we're being told is going to be.
Well, exactly. But from the government side, if I went to the government, because they are there to provide facilities, infrastructure, blah, blah, whatever. If we go and say, and they do this on regularly, we've invested $60 million into XYZ.
Have you put the $60 million into that construction?
Show me the damn outcomes.
Well, tell me the $20 million that you did to try and... How old are my glasses? Tell me the $20 million that didn't get used in building the house.
That went in consultancy fees.
That went into everything
admin
else.
And
So don't tell me that it's $60 million to go and build houses.
But these are the big numbers they talk about, and they lose perspective.
They're not real numbers.
No, but the fact that now billion rolls off the tongue of that is.
Well, what are they talking? The $5 billion residential build right now. $5 billion, 12,000 homes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Come on.
That's right. I'm not stupid.
No, but they think we are.
They're relying upon people to be stupid and think that this is what it is. And this is the part where you sit there and you go, it's like charities. You know when people talk about charities and they go, I'd donate if I knew all the money was going to the right place in the charity.
Correct.
and not 90% of it being chewed up on wages and admin and all that.
Correct.
This is what we're being told to do here. This is your money's going into this, and this is what you're building.
And that's exactly why I do the charity stuff for local things. Yeah,
really. So all the money's going to that, is it? So this is going to go through and help with housing that is so desperately needed. It's not funny. But is that really where it's all going? No, it's not. That's not how the world works. And the unfortunate part is when you're being told that this is how it works and you go, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't. You're allowed to ask a question and do that. That's how things things get changed and done.
Correct.
And the problem is, you know, I love what you do, holding everyone to account. You've got to hold people to account.
You do.
And the biggest thing about it is we can't be sat there and just told, you know, that, you know, as I said, I'll keep harping about, you know, even the Commonwealth Games, but that's the most brutal example of just expenditure that's not required.
Correct. Just a waste.
You know, how much did we pay to the Commonwealth Games Committee?
600 million.
Gone to housing. That could have gone to housing.
Could have gone to housing, could have gone to roads, could have gone to our public healthcare system.
Public healthcare system that my sister's been a part of in the last few weeks. She was in ICU. And we're
here in Mildura.
Here in Mildura.
Yeah. She okay?
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah. Just, we get older.
Yeah, we do.
No, she's okay now, but, you know, you go and see the great job that all these nurses do. They're phenomenal.
They are
we
phenomenal.
are so lucky. We have the greatest nurses anyway. They are
Agreed.
so good. But the problem is again, we don't have the funding.
No, we don't. They're not supported to do
No, they're not.
the best work.
So that's $600 million that could have gone into all of these other things that people need. People desperately need.
No.
And the house starts everything.
Yeah. Well, let's give it to Glasgow so they can put on a show. Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Bloody Glasgow.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good.
I
I'm
love
glad.
talking to you 'cause now, we've solved the world.
Well, we've solved one little part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the housing thing, but this is, again, it's what I say all the time. It's not rocket science, just a bit of common sense and just understanding the value of a dollar and how to make it easy for people.
And all people want is their biggest pride comes from being able to provide something for their family.
Correct.
Don't take that away from them.
No.
Don't take that away from them and don't pretend you're going to help them.
No.
Go and help the people that can help them. And if they make $1 out of that, smart. Good on them. Well done.
And if they
Stay
don't
out
have
of their way.
Exactly. And if they don't have to be relying on the government, even better.
Yep. Because when we have no money left, if we're relying on the government, we're in real strife.
We're in big trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we're headed that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see if we can put a stop to it in a couple of years' time, eh?
Yeah, you will.
Thanks for coming into it for a chat today.
It was awesome.
Yeah, very therapeutic.
Loving the hairdo.
Oh, thanks. I just had it cut and I washed it this morning. So
yeah, I did mine this morning as well.
Did you? I can tell.
Can you tell?
No.
It's shining. Do you know what my daughter did the other day?
No, tell me.
We were sitting at home and she was – so I let my hair go a little bit. So I got to be able to mill out.
Okay.
And she was rubbing the top of my head and she said, Daddy, you've got hair. And then she rubbed my forehead and she goes, no hair. And then she touched it and she thought it was great. Hair, no hair.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
Oof.
I know. I mean,
what did that do to your ego?
There's been a lot of punches to the ego. That email I got before we even started from Anytime Fitness.
Yeah.
I'm claiming as a charity at the minute.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Maybe I can get the tax deduction on it.
But you know what? That's how gyms make their money, from members like you.
They love me.
But all gyms love members like you. That cost them nothing, but just keep putting money in the bank.
This is
great.
I'm here for them.
Yeah, great.
I'm here to help pass the dollar around.
Stimulate the local economy, we call it.
Local economy. Yes. And this is it. It's
not shopping.
It's not shopping.
It's stimulating the local economy.
I'm keeping the gym assistants in jobs. I'm keeping the equipment nice and fresh so they don't have to go and spend it because I've used it too much.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing a great thing.
You do it. Ben, I say it often.
Thank you.
You do such an amazing job.
Don't I?
In this region.
My body is a temple. A larger temple, I'll admit. But it's a temple.
I was just going to say in terms of other things, but okay, if that's the narrative you want to run, that's fine. Yeah. Look, no, thank you very much for coming in today and having a chat about that, because it's such a huge issue, but one I think can be solved with some good policy decisions.
It is. Good common sense, good policy, good economic behaviour.
That's all we need, really. There's my other promo. Wow. Good job.
I'm still going for
Love it.
Kilford. I'm all on this.
Yeah, Kilford's a good one, hey? I'm surprised it's taken me so long to come up with it.
This is amazing.
And it was a stutter.
We haven't even had a beer and you
I know.
I
I didn't even offer you a coffee. Sorry, do you want a coffee?
No, it's all right now. I can't. I've got cotton mouth. I feel like Jim Carrey off me, myself and Irene at the moment at the supermarket.
There's water over there. Sorry, I'm terrible.
Over there. It's 15 metres away from the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Jeez, I'm a bad host.
Wow.
All right. Next time I will have a fully catered... What are we going to talk about next time?
Do we go to sport?
Yeah, we probably should.
Local sport?
Yeah, probably should.
What? We could go into state sport, country sport, what it does for communities, what it does for people's mental health, what it does.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, all the benefits of.
Yeah.
See, you and me.
That's a great idea, actually.
We're going to start solving everything.
Well, cricket season's coming up.
Yes.
But I've signed up to play basketball again.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
with
I
who?
have. Just with the team in Robinvale. But I figure
you
at 44 years old, if I am still being invited
You're a
to
legend.
play basketball, then I'm going to do it.
We had a work team. I went there, got my kids there, and I was like, kids, Dad's going to wind the clock back here. Now, remembering my calves are no good. So this is it. So I've got on the court. I've hit a three-pointer from the corner and the kids have looked at me and I thought, I'm on here. Ran down the court, went to get a rebound, popped my calf mid-air in the air, came down, my calf's killing me, and my kids still sit there and talk about this one three-pointer that I hit.
Wow. Yeah. Imagine if you had to hit more.
There was absolutely no chance. Because, not only that, I was breathing very heavily. So I think the oxygen had gone from my calf very early in the game.
Well, you didn't play the rest of the game though, surely?
No. I don't think I even sat there at the end. I was like, you know what, kids, we're going.
Oh, come on. You can't do that.
I was in so much pain.
Yeah, but get an ice pack and you sit on the sideline until the game's done.
I am soft now.
Oh, but what's that teaching your kids? You know what I did the other day?
Them to get to bed early.
Oh, my God. All right, well, that's an interesting perspective. I had my two here. There was a student-free day. This is how adamant I am.
Free days than we ever had as kids.
Yes.
There is, isn't
yes,
there?
But I'm also much softer than my parents were. You've got a sniffle.
Yeah.
Oh, you should come to work with me.
Is it. This is the
I'm
thing.
so bad.
We had, I hope the principal's not listening to this, my wife the other week, they had book week.
Yes.
And because we couldn't be bothered getting them dressed up, we offered them a day of putt-putt golf, nitro golf.
Oh, my God.
And Macca's.
That's the best.
I think 3 other families' kids ended up joining us.
Oh, God, I should have done that too.
I know. So, and it was cheaper for us to do that.
I bet it was than to buy book week costumes because I don't make them. Who's got time to be making them?
No,
Actually, I tell a lie. I did one for Parker last year. It was a bin chicken. So it was literally just angel wings and I did a pipe cleaner beak
but
and
they're
a beanie.
the best ones.
Yeah, it was
the ones
awesome.
that go to all the effort.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I think it's the simple ones.
Yeah, it's the simple ones, like a bin chicken.
Like a bin chicken. A bin chicken.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, a bin chicken.
I love this.
Yeah, you know the bin chicken picture books?
Yeah.
But he was sitting here the other day because I can't.
Is that why he was grabbing food out of the bin the other day?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Makes
And also
sense.
I'd thrown away half a sausage roll.
Obviously.
I hate when people say things and then make excuses and not do it. So when I said they were here, I just needed half an hour. I was doing some work. Go and draw something and I'll get it tattooed. Just off the cut.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he brings it in.
I got a tattoo in Greece.
Did you? What is it?
It's on my calf.
Oh, well,
no one's going to see this.
Spot?
So.
What is it? Oh.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, that's the Greek god.
Atlas.
Yeah.
Yep.
There
So
you go.
my wife was over the moon.
I'm sure she was. Are you being facetious?
A little bit.
Little bit.
Yep.
So I have a...
So if you're telling them that they can have a tattoo of
No, not
they
them.
drew-
I would get it done of whatever they drew.
Oh, that's whole new. Oh.
That's commitment. But I tell you what, it kept them silent
That's bad policy.
for an hour. It was good policy because I got it. I got the work done and I followed through.
You got the tattoo?
Of course I did. Of course
No,
I did. Oh, you
you
can't.
did not.
I did. I cannot tell
Show
the
me.
kid. I cannot tell the
You
kid.
did not.
I did.
Show me.
I will in a minute. It's up right up here though. It's
Your kid. So
difficult.
it was of their drawing.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he came in. He thought he was the funniest kid because I'm
This is a great
petrified.
story.
I know. I'm petrified of one thing and one thing only, apart from bad policy. Bats are my kryptonite. There's a whole other story
drawn
there.
a bat, hasn't he?
He's drawn a bat. And he was so happy with himself.
What a legend.
Like after 40 minutes, he's come in with this huge smile on his face. He's like, look, Mum. And I've still got the A-free.
This is so good.
Yeah. So I got it done.
How do you not go out and tell people this stuff? This is real stuff.
I know. Well, that was the excuse. Like I had a child-free day. I had to bring them in to work with me. I'm like, guys, I need you to be quiet.
Parents, coming in and then saying, like, we have softened.
Yeah, I know.
We have.
Yeah. Oh, 100% I have.
My first child, the most disciplined kid you've ever got. The second one, he's testy. My daughter, the third one, scares the living crap out of me, and I will do anything she says. And my kids now, my two boys go, I can't believe what you let her get away with. Like, it's like, you know what, you want a chocolate? It's 8:30 in the morning. Let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My kids weren't allowed to have chocolate, the other two boys, until they were 7. And
really?
No, probably 5.
Oh, God.
I know. And
how old is she?
She's 3.
Chocolate for breakfast.
Oh, if she wants it. I woke up when my wife was away, and I had. It's not babysitting.
No, it's parenting. Yes, I know, it's parenting.
Haven't been called this.
No.
I've been called up on this. So she came in. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I'm hungry." I was like, "Okay, let's just start."
No,
the day.
morning, Dad. Love you.
Morning, let's do this. I made 4 different breakfasts because I was so shit scared of her that whichever one she wanted to eat and whichever one she felt like, it was like, no worries. The boys come in and they said, "Dad, can I have this?" I was like, "Make your own, mate." I know. And then I was like,
oh my God.
No. But I had leftovers.
I was going to say you had 3 other breakfasts.
Yeah, don't touch it. That's hers. If she wants it, don't go near it, boys. Call me if you need me.
Oh my God.
I know. This is where I'm at.
Wow. They're going to grow up with a massive complex.
I know.
And she's conditioned you.
I know.
To be her servant.
And I know all of this.
And yet what are you doing about it?
I'm still scared
Nothing.
of it. Yeah. They're in Geelong driving back today.
Are they?
I'm going to get her 5 different meals. I'll get her Macca's. I'll get her KFC. I'll get whatever she wants tonight. The boys are having scrambled eggs.
The problem, God, scrambled eggs on toast for dinner is delicious.
Greatest thing ever.
I love breakfast for dinner. Yeah. What's going to happen though with your darling daughter?
I'll tell you what's going to happen.
When she's older, there is going to be no man that meshes up. This
is what's going to happen. I'm going to get down to, like, I'll take her down the aisle and I'll get to the husband and I'll go, "I am so sorry. This is all my fault. And I'm leaving town, and if she starts yelling at you before the end of the ceremony because you kissed her wrong, it's all me. I know it was me, and I'm sorry."
And now it's a you problem.
Yeah. All the best.
Well, that's kind of what my dad did to my husband.
Yeah.
He walked me to the end of the aisle and he went, "Imagine that. She's your problem now."
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That's why he did his calf. He tried to run out, didn't he?
No, he couldn't. He was blubbering. He was such a mess.
Well, that's it. That's what we do.
Yeah, apparently. Right. You know, that is a good story. I'll show you one day.
I love it. I love it.
It's right up where no one will ever see it. Except for him. He thought it was the best.
What a mum.
I know, right?
What a mum.
Well, you have to. If you're going to say something, you got to do it. Speaking of which, King of the Mountain in Witchy Proof this week.
Yes, I'm
going to do that too.
Are you really?
Yes, because I said I would unless Hawthorn made the grand final. My husband's one-eyed Hawthorn. I'm an MCC member. He is not.
Who do you know for?
Richmond.
Sorry.
Sorry?
So sorry.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. We had a good run for a couple of years.
You did?
Yeah.
Who wins this week?
Brisbane, I hope.
Yeah, I'm an old Fitzroy Lions supporter.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a Cats man. But I was, like, this shows you, I was actually a Lions supporter all the way up until about 2006. So I got the three-peat. Then my allegiance has switched to Geelong. Then I had 2007.
Why?
I had best mates playing at Geelong, so I sort of found myself barracking for them more so than the Cats. And it's just sort of always followed on from the Cats ever since there.
Okay.
So I've had a great run.
Yeah.
So if Brisbane win this weekend, I'm back on the Lions.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a real culture of winning. I'm glad Geelong are not there, to be fair, because Geelong is so vanilla as far as AFL football.
You know what, though? We shouldn't have been there.
No, you shouldn't have been in the mix at all. No, I wouldn't have thought.
No. These are the 2 best sides. So I'd love to see the Lions win.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Hawthorn had such a strong finish to the year, though.
Oh, they absolutely did. But I think they were one of the top 4 sides. But I think as far as they were on a run, I think as far as game plan execution, the players they have across the board, these 2 sides are the best 2 sides in the competition.
Hawthorn will get there, though. They're still only very, very young.
They are. Seamus Mitchell, what's the latest there? Is he still
I haven't.
there?
Yes.
He is? Okay,
and he's been having 42 touches a week in the VFL.
I don't know how he didn't get a game but in the back half of the year. I thought with the injuries coming through, I really thought Seamus was going to get a game.
Yeah, but they want him to play down back.
Half back, yeah.
Yeah, and he's midfielders. Not. And when you've got Sicily there to play half back, why on earth, you're going to play Sicily over Seamus?
Good Robinvale boy.
Great Robinvale boy.
Moy I reckon is a chance of being drafted this year as well.
I hope so. We've been saying that every year for the last 3 years.
Yeah, but he's had a good season in the VFL. Robinvale. And there's a changing of the guard down at Robinvale, new coaches.
Okay. There's a changing of the guard at South Mildura too, I hear.
Yes.
Has that been made public? Has
today.
it?
Yeah, so Nagel will coach. I think Jyden Nagel will coach. The two brothers will go with him. Yep.
Geez, that's a good get, though.
Great get. Well, you've also got young Magro coming over to Robinvale. So Robinvale, they're loading up again, but...
Yeah. All right, Ben, thank you very much. I'll go and let you get back to work.
Let's do this.
Righto.
In the heart of the nation where laughter's the key, Natch has the podcast, join the revelry, taking the Mickey with positive spin. Country folks unite and let the Nat Chat begin. Nat Chat where the laughter's free, spinning tales about politics with positivity.